welcome. Hello chaps, and welcome to build update number 2. Yes, number 2. Not that I'm going to make a number 2 or anything else, but this is build update number 2 on the classic old 1970s kit of the Tamiya's King Tiger. This is the third of my little mini kind of series, always explained in my kind of update. Okay, I did a channel update. So this is the third in the series. Like I said, first one was the Panzer 4, then I did the Tiger 1, now I'm doing the Tiger 2, King Tiger, and I've got another 3 kits left to do in this series, and do a mini series of 6 classic old 70s Tamiya kits. Okay, so been working away in them now, and this is time for build update number 2. So this is the painting stage. Okay, the painting stage for the King Tiger. Now before I actually start the painting, I've got to do some prep work. Okay, so this first part of this I'll be showing you a little bit of prep work that I'm doing to it. 1 or 2 techniques that I'm trying out. Okay, just want to see what they actually look like. I've sort of got ideas on shell impacts, and now I'm getting another idea then from the same guy. I'll explain everything in a minute. From I'm kind of, I want to do a bit of texturing to the surface of the vehicle. I find it was too smooth for considering the timeline, especially with the King Tiger. They were produced right at the end of the war. Although they were technically absolutely perfect, a couple of mechanical issues, but the actual builds of them were very, very good. They were sort of over-engineered, but the quality of the steel, it wouldn't be sort of silky smooth. Okay, there would have been, various little imperfections in the steel and things like that, right? In my mind, okay, I might be wrong, but for me it's just too smooth, too shiny. When the paint goes onto it, yeah, you can weather it up and make it look good, but I'm just trying out this technique that I got. Now the chap I've been getting these ideas from is a chap called Martin Kovic, probably pronouncing his name wrong, but Night Shift. He calls himself Uncle Night Shift. Fabulous channel. Go over there and get a look at his stuff. He's you could call him a rivet counter, as in he wants everything done perfect. He does bloody amazing work, really does. I had to kind of stop myself from profanities there, but I loved his idea with the shell impacts. It works very nice. It does look good. I haven't even painted it yet, and it looks good. So hopefully, when all is painted, it'll even look better again. And now I'm working on texturing. Okay, so let's get on to the bench. Let's not whiffle waffle. Let's get down to the bench, and I'll show you exactly what I'm up to. Okay. Okay, and like I said, we're doing a bit of texturing. Okay, now I will have to go back over my my shell impacts again, because this is kind of doing a bit of damage to them, but a bit of damage to shell impacts, my god. Anyway, this is sort of the effect that I'm going to kind of end up with. Now I know it's shiny at the moment. Once the paint goes onto it, it'll level things out, as in, it won't be shiny, but level shades out, right? And if you see it there, it's kind of that rolled steel type look to it. Okay, and a few scratches and imperfections and all that kind of thing, right? Because it was basically silky smooth like that, right? And I didn't like that. No, I've done most of it, trying out, getting to be able to get it right and be able to do it right. Okay, so what you need for it is you need an old brush, right? This is the brush I use in bits. absolutely in bits, right? And some Tamiya extra thin, or any of the extra thin glues will do. Okay, now you don't need this brush, you need this brush. Okay, so get yourself some glue on your brush. Oh, the brush has got a little bit hard on me. It'll soften itself back up again in a minute. Right, do it a little area at a time. Okay. Little area at a time like that. Right. And that is all you do. Kind of stipple it around. Okay. What to me extra tin does is kind of, you know, as we know itself, it melts the glue. And what I'm doing here is I'm giving it a little bit of just roughing it up, roughing up the texture, making it not so smooth. Okay. Ta-da! Simple as that. Right, and as you can see, that little area there is done. So I'm going to carry on now. I've got to do up around there. I've done the front mantlet. I've done that side. I have to do the back. Okay, and I have to do this side plate here. With the exhausts, I'm going to use different thing. I want a little bit more of a kind of a texture on it. I will be using some Mr. Surfacer on that. This kind of does the same job as Mr. Surfacer, but it's a bit less dimply, shall we say? A little less dimply. That's a nice word for it, isn't it? Less dimply. So it's deficient in dimples. Okay, so I'll carry on with that anyway, and when all that's done, we'll come back and have a quick look at it. I'll also do the do my exhausts. Then it basically is ready for painting. But another thing that I will do just before I sort of actually get it ready for painting is just I want to give you a quick kind of glimpse of it. Can't really do it up here because the glue is still a bit soft. You have to leave it rest for a while. With a soft sander. Now I use these ones here. They're the ultimate ones. Now this one has seen better days, but it doesn't really matter. You just want to kind of go over it. You don't want just kind of cut down the harshness of the in case there's any dimples, it's a bit too deep, shall we say. Alright, and that is why I have got to go back over and do my my little shell impacts again. The second part of it, as in with the filler, where you kind of put on the thing and you dimple it around and spread out the thing so it looks as if it's, you know, that mushrooming effect of the steel. Whereas it didn't go all the way through, so it didn't sort of pull the steel in with it. It kind of just bowed it out, you know, kind of like a crater on the ground type thing. Same idea will work on steel. If you ever look at, there's plenty of, all you have to do is Google shell impacts on armour and you will see what I'm talking about. So I continue on now with me stippling, me dimpling, and do a bit of the exhausts with Mr. Surfacer, and then we're ready then to start paint. Okay, simple as that. Ta-da! Okay, so now I am ready to paint. Okay, now I know that these shell impacts, they look really dramatic here. It's purely because of the colour. Okay, once that's all painted up, they won't look so ridiculous, shall we say, but they'll blend in nicely. I hope. I hope, says you. Right. As you see, I used a bit of the Mr. Surfacer along here, areas that I'm going to kind of put a bit of rusty type stuff on it, right? Also put a bit on the spare tracks. along here where the side skirts were ripped off. Also on the exhaust pipes. Okay, if we get a close look at the exhaust pipes there, you can see it's just got a bit of extra texture, right? Come on, camera. Right, just a bit of extra texture on those, and on here. And you will also notice that I put on one or two little extra pieces. Yes. The kit didn't come with them. It was quite basic. An aerial anyway, and an aerial mount, fire extinguisher, wire cutters, and on the back I've got two of those little towing thingamajiggies, and a toolbox, or is it a jack block? I'm not sure. I think it's actually the jack block and a jack. Okay, I just had them in my spares box, so I said why not, well, let's stick them on. So now I'm happy with it. Now time to start actual painting. So I'm going to break it down, and then take off the turret, take the top off, take the tracks off, take all the wheels off, get them all mounted onto little sticks, and then we can start the painting. Okay, so the next time you see it, it'll be all broken down into its various different components, and ready to actually start painting, ready to get some paint down on it. First of all, I'm going to give it a coat of the dark yellow over everything. Right, it's going to be my my undercoat, purely because normally if it was only, say, a single colour, I'd do the black and white technique where you kind of get variations in tone in the panels. That's practically impossible to do in that technique when you're using a three-tone camouflage, because you're going to be putting layer on layer, and you're going to cover up any bit of underwork that you're going to do to it. I'm not excellent, shall we say, when it comes down to this color modulation thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but I do think that some areas will fade more than others, so therefore some areas will have, maybe when it comes down to the weathering stage, I'll try and address that. Okay, so there she is, all ready for painting. Let's get it in a bit there, and a bit of light onto the subject. Right, I'll just change the angle of the camera so it's down a bit. Let's use all the creakiness, right? It's John's unprofessionalism. I've never claimed to be a professional. So we'll get a nice kind of a look of it before we start painting. There's a before job. Right. Ta-da, ta-da. And we'll get painting on it next, and hopefully everything will come out grand. Sure. All we can do is try anyway, and if it doesn't come out well, I still had fun anyway. Isn't that it? That's the name of the game. So next time anyway, we'll be able to strip down for painting, and then we can start. Okay then, so now I'm ready to actually start getting some paint down. And I'm after stripping it down there to its component little parts. Okay, so on this block here I have all the wheels on stalks. I also have the two figures. Okay, I have the rest of the wheels there with the drive sprockets and idler wheels. I have the tracks. Okay, and I've got the hull and the turret, and I've also got all the wheel nuts and locks things. Now with them, what I did was, simple as like anything else, a bit of double-sided tape, took them all off and stuck them onto that. So they're actually, when they're finished and they're dry, they're quite easy to take off. And it's a pretty good double-sided tape. It's the type of the thickish stuff. Very good for this type of thing, and you get it all covered nicely. So next step now is to get some paint down on that. first of all, I'll get a nice base colour down. I'll use Tamiya XF88, which is the new, say, dark yellow, right? Used to be, say, XF60 would be the one to use, but they've come up with a couple of new colours, and XF88 will be the first colour to go down on them. So next time you see it, I'll have the base colours down. We'll have a look at that, see how that all kind of blends in, you know, how these look. They won't look so drastic, shall we say, with a bit of paint down on top of them. Okay, so I'll get that done, come back to you, and as usual, we kind of do a bit and we have a look and keep carrying on like that. Okay, so as you can see there, I'm after getting down the dark yellow. And this is the colour I used, XF88. Why is it not zooming in on the writing? It's dark yellow, there we go, XF88 dark yellow 2. Okay, that's that colour down. Now as you can see, those shell impacts look a lot better already, without being sort of highlighted in white, which kind of made them really stand out and made them look a bit off and a bit awkward. Okay, very, very happy with the texturing on it. Okay, as you see, very subtle, and it looks like rolled steel. Okay, see that there? That looks like rolled steel compared to the really smooth, silky finish that was on it. That looks a lot better. It looks like steel now. Okay, wheels are all done as well. All looking good. Alright, so next step for this now is to start with the camouflage pattern. The green I'm going to use is this, which is XF89 dark green, and I had planned to use that's dark green 2, should I say, sorry, dark green 2. Okay, see there, the 2, dark green 2. Now these are the new Tamiya colours that Tamiya say are absolutely perfect for German camouflage, the tritone German camouflage. And this is the third colour then, right? XF90. Let me just give that a second or two to do its magic with the camera. It doesn't want to. Come on. It's basically what that says is red brown 2, right? Red brown 2. Now, I've had a problem with this stuff. Okay? As you can see from the colour of that, it's a nice, you know, it's brown. But I just added the thinner to it, give the living daylight sort of a shake, and that's the colour. That is freaking horrible. I said, I wonder, was it a bad batch, or is there something wrong with it or something like that? Because I wasn't really, I'm definitely not happy with that, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to use that. And I went online, and I basically, I just typed into the ordinary Google search, problems with Tamiya XF90. And lo and behold, what did I find? A number of people had the exact same problem with it. Now, whether it's a batch or whatever it is, lots of people have said that it's freaking horrible. So I'm going to have to find a new brown for my my thing, right? So I'm thinking of using this, right? It's a nice lighter brown. It's not as red brown as the other one. As you know, say the XF64. You can use the XF64 if you want, which is a red brown. Or I'm going to use this, which is XF68 NATO brown. Okay, so that's the brown I'm going to use. I'm not going to use that Tamiya. I find a use for it, but I don't like that colour. Do not like that colour at all. And like I said, a number of people have had problems with it. So let's put that aside, and let's start with our green camouflage now for this. I am going for the tritonal camouflage, the green, red, brown, and the dark yellow. Okay, so next time you see it, it will have the green on. Okay, I'm not one of these people that have great cameras and great sort of editing software and do all that to show the painting of it. Unfortunately, I have pretty basic camera, pretty basic editing skills. Well, not just the editing skills, I have a pretty basic editing software. So I'm going to do it this way. This is the way I do them, and I'm not going to change the way I do my videos until I can kind of rent a nerd and show me how to do all this properly. So anyway, lads, next time you see it, we'll have the green on. We'll have a look at that, see how that all went, and then we'll go for the brown. So next time will be the green. Let's see how all that turns out. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm after getting the green done. Okay, still have my glove on, the blue hand of faith. And there's the start of the pattern. Okay, I'm going to use. I don't know whether it's correct or not. I just, shall I say, went off the top of my head with it. Right. So that's basically the pattern, and I'm after doing all the wheels and the dry sprocket and the idler as well, giving them a little blast of green. So now it's time for the brown, and like I said, I'm not going to use the XF90, the red brown 2. I'm going to use XF68 NATO brown. So now I'll get the brown on, and we'll see how that works. Okay, now as you can see, I have the brown on. Now I know it's not an excellent paint job. I don't claim to do an excellent paint job. Like I said, my hands ain't the best, eyesight ain't the best, and I do use cheap Chinese airbrush, but it does. I'm happy with it. That'll all be weathered, and it'll, once a bit of washes and things, it kind of blends it all together. So I'm not worried about it too much. Okay, but I am happy enough with the pattern anyway, right? Or what I was attempting to get, shall we say? Okay, so we'll just it's still slightly wet. I'm taking a chance here, but fuck it, we'll go for it. Okay, so there we go. They kind of match up a bit, right? I tried to do my best in it, right? Those colours look quite nice, I must admit. I'm very, very happy with that. Okay, so there's me. There's the main body of the tank. There's the area. There's the wheels and drive sprockets. Okay. Did a variation. I didn't do them all the same. I got, shall we say, this some done sort of, that way, some that way, some that way. Do you know what I mean? So there's variation in the wheels. They're not all the same. And like I said, I'm happy enough with it. I tidy it up a little bit later on, but I use a hairy stick. It's just much easier to tidy it up a bit with that. Once I have it tidied up, then I will do the detail painting. Okay, so the detail painting now is next on this. We've got some tow cables, we've got fire extinguisher, we've got some tools. That's really about it. Oh yeah, we've got the tracks as well. We've got those tracks. They're going to be, they're all going to be detail painted. And the whole machine going there, that's got to be detail painted as well. So once the detail painting is done, we'll come back. We'll have a look at it. And like I said, in the meantime, I'm going to wait until everything is fully dry, and so I can handle it and kind of look at it a bit better. And then I will do sort of a bit of tidying up with the trusty old hairy stick, and just make the lines a little bit neater. And like I said, because we'll be reasonably heavy weathering in this, I'm not too worried about one bit being slightly darker than the other, because when you use the hairy stick it does kind of tend to be a little bit darker, but it cuts down and it just make the overspray look a bit neater. Okay, but the actual pattern itself, I'm happy with the pattern itself, right? So I'm going to leave it at that until we get the detail painting done. I've talked enough. I'm constantly fucking talking. I can never shut myself up. So I get the detail painting done. I'll come back and have a look at that. Oh, another thing on the detail painting are on my wheels, lest I forget. I want to put a bit of silver on the outsides of the wheels here. If they were rubber, obviously you do the rubber black on them, but these are steel wheels, so they would have come out of the factory all nicely painted up, and the minute that starts moving, they're going to silver up there from sort of metal on metal, so they're going to be kind of silvered up a bit. Also with the teeth on the drive sprocket, they're going to be metalled up as well. Another thing then as well, once I've only added the green onto the wheel hubs, right? And the reason for that is I'm going to wait until each of them are fitted, and then I can, with the hairy stick, go in and add the red and the red brown, should I say, and just make it look right. If I kind of went in, because they're not sort of attached, it'll look wrong. So I'm going to sort of tidy them up once everything is on. So next step now is to do the tidy up and the detail painting. When that's done, we'll come back and we'll have a look at all that. Okay then, so what I'm after doing is I'm after doing all the detail painting. Okay, start here with this. Right, we got the me yellow pointy pointer. That's a paintbrush. There's my pointer. Okay, I did the tow cable, starting handle. As you see that I'm after using silver now inside in the shell impacts. Okay. Now, I know silver is a bit bright, it's got a bit stark, but it will all tone down with the weathering processes. But, when they're initially made, they would be that colour, simple as that, because you're kind of chunking straight into steel. You make a fresh cut into steel, it's bright silver until the weather starts getting to it. Same here now with the bullet holes there at the side. Okay, a little burst of 50 cal. That's what I'm saying it is anyway. Right, we've got our track puller chain and another tow cable. Up here then we've got the wire cutters, aerials done. I'm after getting a base colour down for the exhausts. I'm going to start rusting them up now next. Jack towing cleats, I think they're called. Shovel there. I got to do the wood handle on the shovel. I also have to do the handles here on the wire cutters. Just the last few little bits and pieces that I spotted there. I thought I was finished, but I'm not. We've got also the base colour down on the tracks. Okay, the spare tracks there. They have the base colour down on them, and on the wheels. Then I'll just show you one of them there. We've got the silver on the sides where the paint would have been worn off them, right? And the same then with the drive sprockets. We've got the sticky outy bits silvered, and along the edges silvered as well. Now it's obvious what colours I used for the silvery bits. I used silver. Simple as that. Quite simple. For the tracks, tow cables and things like that, this is what I used. XF84 dark iron. It's a grind base colour. You can kind of rust on top of it. It looks lovely. that's really it. Okay, that's it for the base colours. Now for the wood here on the handle for the wire cutters, and the handle on the starting handle, and on the shovel. Now I know that in my last one what I did was I used the wood as a base colour and gave it a little bit of red wash. That was over the handles on the wire cutters, because they're crushed cardboard or compressed cardboard, as opposed to being wood, because they're not wood, they are cardboard. Also for the fire extinguisher, I'm going to paint that in German grey, and this is the colour I'm going to use for the wood. It's Citadel base colour XV86 or something. What is it? XV88 is the colour, right? It's the Citadel base colour. I like the colour. It does give a nice wood base. Okay, so what I'm going to do next now is I'm going to put the rust tones on the exhausts. I'm going to put a light bit of rust tone on the spare tracks here on the side. I'm going to do the wood, do the wire cutters. Also going to put the German grey on the fire extinguisher, and I'm going to put on the decals. Yep, I'm going to stick on the decals. So then it'll be ready for glass coating and weathering. But not fully quite, because I still have to do the tracks. I got to get base colours down on the tracks, but I'm going to leave them for a while. I'm going to get these done first. Okay, so I'll get them done. We'll come back, then we'll have a look at it. Then we'll start discussing the tracks, because what I'll do is, once I get all of them done, I'll give these a gloss coat. It's a good start for the weathering. The weathering kind of goes on grand after that, and can be a bit harsh, so the gloss coat will protect what's already there. Also, what did I say I want to do? Oh yes, we've got figures and everything to do, so we still have plenty to do. So I'll get those few bits done, get the decals on, come back, then we'll have a look at it at that stage, and then I'll gloss coat it, and we'll move on then to the tracks. Okay. Okay, so the decals are now done, right? We got a 231 on the cross, same on the other side there. On the main body of the tank, I'm after sticking the 2nd SS Panzer Division, and I'm after sticking a cross in the back as well. Okay, I don't know whether it goes there or not, but I had one, so I'll use it. The decals that came with the kit, they basically disintegrated on me. They literally did. When they came out of the water and you go pick them up, they just fell apart. They were really bad. So as you can see, I didn't use them. So I had to dig into my old parts box there. I keep a box with all old decals. Anytime I get a kit, obviously you're not going to use all the decals that are with it. So I stick them into a box, not taking up too much room, and they will come in handy, like they did here. I also did the last little bit of the detail painting that I'd left out from previous. I had the fire extinguisher, the handles on the wire cutters, the handle of the starter, the handle on the shovel, and also on the exhausts as well. I'm after adding the rust to them, right? On the rust in them, I'm after using Tamiya's XF64 red brown, okay, which is close enough to the NATO brown, but it's only the start of the rusting procedure. They'll get more after that, and they'll guarantee me they'll look better, believe you. I also started a bit of rust here on the spare tracks that go on the side of the vehicle themselves as well. Right. So next step for this now is to give it a glass coat. Now I'll only be glass coating the main body of the tank and the turret. I won't be doing the wheels. The reason I'm not glass coating the wheels is I want them to actually be dirtier than the main vehicle. By glass coating when you kind of give it an overall wash, it just kind of works as a kind of a it just kind of puts on a kind of a layer of dirt onto it, the way I do it anyway. It does, and then I can go over it then with pin wash and bring out all the little details, and it just makes them all stand out. But when you do it over, like what I'm going to do now on the wheels, when you do it on the wheels, it just kind of just makes them that little bit darker, a little bit dirtier, and that's what I want. That's the effect that I want on the wheels, and I can give them pin wash then and all the little nuts and things as well, just to make them stand out a little bit better. But the main base of them, I want them a little bit darker than the rest of the vehicle. So next step now, I'll give this body and the turret a glass coat. Then I can kind of leave it up and to dry for a day or two while I work away on the tracks. So I'll come back to you just after I get the glass coat done, just to show you how nice and shiny and pretty it all is, and then we can start in on the tracks, and I still have the figures to get done as well. So stay tuned, plenty more to go. Okay, next time, click of the fingers and it will be glass coated. Okay, so I'm after getting the glass coat now down on the body of the tank, and as you see, it's got a lovely nice shine to it. Okay, tell you what, to be honest, I'm very happy with that camo pattern. Alright, I think it came out grand. I won't put the turret on now, but I have had the turret on, and it matches up reasonably well. Okay, there's the turret. Okay, that's all nice and shiny. Now I'm after jumping ahead a little bit in what I said I was going to get done. I'm after base coating the tracks, as in, well, I didn't say base coating, I'm kind of more undercoating them, because I'm going to use sort of dark iron as my base coat for the tracks, and they were already that kind of black colour. It wouldn't really be that noticeable, so I just put down a colour that I just had there, and I said I'd use this one, right? The colour that I'm not happy with is XF90. Okay, so it's supposed to be red brown. Okay, it's supposed to be red brown. You see that colour there? That is definitely a green colour. It's a kind of an olive drab without actually being olive drab, if you know. It's, I don't know. The only way I can describe, the only way I've ever seen this colour before, right, is I've never seen it actually in the army, when I was in the army, but if you remember, when you get toys, cheap sort of toys from China and places like that, and they'd have sort of that green strap on them, they're this kind of army-ish green. That's the colour I'm getting from this. Okay, it's a kind of an olive drab. I suppose if you're doing say an olive drab vehicle, you could use this as part of your colour modulation, but it's definitely not a red brown. That is one thing that is definitely for sure, is definitely not a red brown. Now a couple of people have had that problem with the XF90. Now, like again, what I said, I wonder, is it just a bad batch? But there's people sort of, when I looked down at the locations of these people when they were giving out about this paint, some people were in Australia, some people are in America, one or two in England, and I'm basically in Ireland. Now, I did buy it from England, so, you know, it's sort of, will be part of the English batch. But you're talking about three different locations in the world. You're talking about sort of Europe, Australia and America. So, you know, was it a bad batch, totally misdone or whatever the case may be. But you can find it yourself. Just Google problems with Tamiya XF90 and you'll find out yourself. A lot of people are saying it was more like an olive type green than a red brown. That's why I've had to use the NATO brown on that. Also use that colour there on as a base coat now for the figures. It's just sort of base it down. I brush painted that on. I just kind of didn't really take too much care, and that's why it looks so blotchy and horrible. But it's just a sort of a kind of a colour to get down onto the figures before I actually start painting their uniforms and the things like that. So what I'm going to carry on with next now is those figures. Actually, I'm going to get the two figures painted up. I'm also going to wait until these are fully dry and get the dark iron onto them, and when the dark iron is on, we'll have a look at them, and we'll also have a look at the figures. So the next time will be the quick look at the tracks with the dark iron, and hopefully by then the figures will be painted up. Now, for me, I'm talking maybe a day or two, but for you it's like as quick as that. Okay, so back in a mo with the tracks and the figures done. Okay, so now I have the main colour of the tracks down, right? We saw them when they were that horrible green colour. I then give them a coat of dark iron, and now I'm after giving them a coat of red brown. Okay, now I was going to leave them dry for a while, and after that then we'll start on the weathering of them, and then after a black wash and a bit of dry brushing, they'll come up absolutely lovely. I know that for a fact because basically it's how I've been doing tracks for some time, and it's always worked out for me, and they look I'm happy with how they are. They've basically been looking the same as what all the others have been doing. Okay, I got the basic colours down now on figures as well, right? They just have to be kind of a little bit more detailed painting on them. Alright, just want to, okay, as you see, I used gloss black on the headphones and the belt, okay, and the cables there for the communication things, the throat mic and that kind of stuff, right? And with him, his binoculars. They're not the best of figures. They're not bad, but they're not great either. You can see the colour there. It is actually kind of a fresh tone, but for some reason when I put my hand in, they kind of go green. But they are flesh tone. Same with this chap here. He's flesh tone as well. Right, there we go. It's just when I put my hand behind it, it sort of changes the colour of them. So what I'm going to get done from now on, and I'll be doing it for, I'd say, for a day or two, well, a day or two, a couple of more days, shall we say. I'm going to start the weathering process on the vehicle. Okay, so first off is I'm going to start giving it a couple of washes. I'm going to give it a black wash first, right? We'll see how that works. We'll do some sort of pin washing to get the with the black again, to get it in around the grooves and things, just to make them kind of stick out a bit. We'll see how all that looks. Like I said, we'll come back, we'll have a look at them, and then we'll go on them, we'll do a bit of chipping and that kind of thing, okay? And then we'll go for sort of the dusting and all that kind of stuff, okay? So as I said, I'm going to start weathering in this. I'll give it the washes first, black wash and black pin wash. We'll come back, we'll see what that's done to it, if it's done anything to make it noticeable, and you know, we'll carry on. That's all we can do, just carry on. Okay, so I'm after giving the main body of the tank a nice black wash, a dark grey wash, and I'm after giving it a black pin wash as well. Now, the black pin wash, it usually comes out sort of much lighter than black, as you can see here in the leads. Alright. Oops. Overall, I'm really happy with how that came out. Believe me, kind of a close up there. If you look at that, looks like just grime and dirt, which is exactly what I'm looking for, you know. And the back of vehicles are always that little bit extra dirty. Look at that. That is just, to me, that is just perfect. That is exactly how I wanted it. I'm really happy with that. Oops, it is a bit hard to zoom in there.
Same here on the sides. Just looks like warming, grime, and you know, and generalised dirt and grubbiness. Okay, and to me that's what overall wash will do. Pin wash will make highlight very parts into that, but the kind of the dirty wash basically does exactly what it says in the tin. It makes it look dirty. It wanted it to do. Okay. No. Next step now for that will be chipping. And the chipping will be sort of I'll do it in two colours. First I'll do it with the dark yellow. Usually on the browns and on the greens and areas like that. I do a kind of a big enough-ish area. Not making it big, and big I suppose is not really the proper word to use, but kind of a larger area, and then inside that with black. So in other words, the green paint has been, and the brown paint has been kind of scraped off, and underneath that you can colour the dark yellow, because it will come in the dark yellow, and the green and the brown have been added afterwards. So the brown and the yellow and the green have been chipped off, and even that sort of got chipped off underneath then to the wheel underneath. That would be the second colour then, kind of a flat black I use for that. I normally use a reddish brown, but I don't know, it mightn't really show up that well, so we will try it with reddish brown and see how that works. Same here now with that. As you see, it's grubby in the areas it's meant to be grubby and dirty. Alright. Obviously the turret wouldn't get as dirty as the lower parts of the vehicle. You know, same with the deck. You know, the dirty areas are around here by the engine area, and here the front of it, where it's, you know, mud would be splashed up onto it as it goes into, you know, down muddy roads and things like that. Not so much up in that area up here. And same then with the turret, the sides of the turret, because of the slope of the turret, any mud would just kind of go up onto it and kind of splash off down to the side, because it's got a nice, you know, there's a pretty steep angle there. So that would have sort of all washed off. Just put out the turret there and kind of see what I'm kind of talking about there, how everything kind of just matches in nicely. So I'll go on ahead and I'll start doing a bit of chipping, like I said, with dark yellow, flat black, and red brown. Okay, that's the XF64 red brown now, not that red brown 2 khaki colour, which is fucking horrible. Like I say, I more than likely I've just got a bad batch of the stuff, but I don't know. I just don't know. I'll have to do a bit more research and to find out that anybody get a decent bottle of it. If anybody out there knows, or anybody out there has got a decent bottle of it, and it is a nice sort of light red brown, as in, you know, red brown, let me know, and I'll probably try and reorder it, and hopefully I won't get another gunky bottle. You know, but yourself once bitten, twice shy. So anyway, I'll go on ahead, I'll do some more chipping, a bit more weathering and things like that. I'll come back then and discuss, you know, what I did, where I did it, and how it works out and things like that. Still have another bit of washes to do. I want to do kind of rust washes here on the spare tracks, but do that at the same time as I'm doing the washes on the rubber tracks as well. I get it all at the same time, at least, you know, at least then all the rust will kind of really look similar. Okay, I don't want it to look the same, but I want it to look similar. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get done, and I'll get back onto you as soon as possible. Okay then, so I'm after doing a reasonable amount of chipping. When I say reasonable amount, I mean a lot. Could have gone overboard, I don't know. Do you think it's gone overboard? Okay, so there's the front. Alright. We've got the sides. I'll get some better light on that so you can actually see it. Okay, there's the side. There's the front. As you see, the shell sort of impacts starting to look really, really, really good. I mean, starting to look really, really good. They do look really, really good. In my mind, they do anyway. Okay, there's more of that chipping there around the side. At the back, then we've got another bit of chipping, keeping that sort of dirty, splashed look about it. Okay, we've got the engine deck there, and on the front, we've also got the same then done to the turret. Right, as you see now, I've got some nice, what appear to be nice deep gouges, and they're not, they're just literally just painted on there. Okay, right across the number, and by using the two colours in that, as you see, I kind of did the dark yellow with the darker colour over it. Now, I did say I was going to use flat black, and I didn't. I don't know why I said I was going to use flat black. I used dark iron as my dark chipping colour. I mean, because basically that's the colour it would go, you know. It would kind of go silvery type like that first, but because it's only on the edge, it would have weathered very, very fast, and it would have just gone to sort of that dark iron colour. Okay, so there we go. Now, is that OTT, as in over the top? I don't know. I don't think so. I actually think it's quite reasonable, right? And you see the whole lot together then, right? I think that is looking quite nice, right? And the washes are after toning down some of that glossy effect as well. So I've also done the same really on the wheels. Okay, I'll just look at one or two of them, as you see, where I kind of give them a bit of a scraping up, and as you see, they're nice and dirty as well. Okay, that's exactly how I wanted them. I didn't want them too clean compared to, say, to the rest of the vehicle. Okay, as you see, they're just a little bit dirtier, but keeping the same thing, the main colour that's there. With the tracks, I'm after giving them a dark wash. Right, now as you see, the wash is still a bit wet on them, right, but it is after making it look that little bit better. Now it's got to get a bit of a bit of a dry brushing now with a bit of metallic silvery colour to get them looking like metal. Now, they are not the best of tracks. I never said that they were excellent tracks. I've actually basically said that they're adequate. They'll do the job. Okay, they're not the best, but they're not the worst either. I have seen a lot worse. Actually, the tracks for the Tiger 1 actually were very, very bad compared to those. But you know, they're usable, and you'll get a nice kind of a static model as long as as long as you're not trying to enter a competition with them. You'll do grand, and if it's for your home, then yippee, you know. And you know, why go off and spend another 30 or 40 quid, you know, basically the price of another kit, when you think of it, on a set of full tracks or something like that, when something is going to, you know, sit up in the which are along with your collection of models that you're after doing. Now, if you go off, say, and you want to do a really exceptional one, and you go off and you buy yourself a good Dragon Tiger, and you want to spend, you know, you go off and want to spend the money and get yourself that aftermarket clasps and all that thing. If you're good, if you can see them, unlike me, then go off and do it. You know, I'm not saying don't do it, and you know, go off and buy your full tracks and things like that, and burnish them and buy the burnishing fluid and everything else. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying that that's not for me, and that's not for a lot of the people that watch my channel. A lot of the hobby modelers, they like what I do, and you know, you can get nice effects nice and cheaply without going buying expensive products, just by doing basic little things. Okay, you're not going to win. I'm not going to win a competition with that.
But I'm not entering a competition with that, okay? I'm doing that for me, and you know, for what I want out of it. We've got our little figures there now, okay? They're looking quite good. Now, as you can see, they're flesh colour, so the minute I put my hand up there to get a kind of a closer up on it, it's going to change to a kind of a greenish look, okay? But you know, again, they're not super figures. I'm not a super figure painter, but I'm happy with what I end up with, okay? So there's our driver, and here's our commander, right? So, you know, if you look at that close under a microscope, obviously he's going to be bad. But from a distance, you know, you give it the 2 foot rule, as in you bring your eyes 2 foot away from the model and look at it and say, how good is that? And then, you know, if it passes that, then you pay. So I'm going to get it all assembled now, put back on the wheels, put back on the tracks and things like that. Do the last little bit of touching up, weathering, and then we'll have its final reveal. So this is the last of sort of the building and, you know, bits and pieces that I've done to it. In the final reveal, if I end up doing any more to it, I will say so. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a bit of dry brushing on the tracks before I get them fitted. It's going to get a dull coat then for a finish, just to get that shine off it, and that'll help to kind of blend everything back in again. I don't know if I'm going to give it a dust coating or not yet. That's where you sort of use XF57 buff, with your airbrush then, literally as far back as that, okay? Right, and that is, say, a good span of my fingers, that far away, you know, like that. That would be enough, and that would kind of put down a kind of a type of dusty type effect to it. Like I said, we'll see what the dull coat will do to it, and if it needs more after that, then it'll get more. If it doesn't need any more, it won't get any more. So I'm going to put it all together again, like I said, finish off the last few little bits and pieces. We'll come back then and we'll have its final reveal, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I've definitely enjoyed it. It's a lovely kit, and hey, let's carry on. And here she is, the final reveal of the King Tiger. Now I really wish, especially with this one, that I had a much better camera to be able to show you. Unfortunately, I've got a Microsoft. It's a Microsoft Live Cam. It's basically a webcam, but it does the job. It does the job. I wish it was a little bit better, because, you know, what I'm looking at on the screen is only kind of doesn't look bad. I must admit, it doesn't look bad, but wow. It's the actual thing is 10 times better. You know, I wish I had the space for one of those. You know, these studios that people have, and they've got the kind of the curved whiteness, and everything just shows up absolutely beautiful. But all in all, I am really happy with that. I'll even go beyond happy. I'm feckin' delighted with how it turned out. It just looks good. It really does. And I know I'm blowing my own trumpet in that by saying things like that, but it really does. I'm really chuffed with how that came out. I will take a few close-up photographs, and I will add them to the end of this, and hopefully that will show you a bit better how, you know, everything came out. All I did really for finish now was I gave it a dull coat, I gave a dry brush to the figures, and with sort of the edges along here, as you can see, you know, I don't know if they'll even kind of show out a little bit of shine here and there
on certain parts and on the tracks and things like that. I just use that, which is basically a graphite pencil. It's a 2B graphite pencil. Okay. Any kind of pencil will do really, but these are graphite pencils. I find them dead handy. I got them in an art store there some time ago. I wouldn't even call it an art store. It's a shop called Tiger. I'm sure you have it where you are. I think they're Danish or something like that, but they do a lot of these kind of arty type things. Okay, I'm using the same base that I showed off the ordinary Tiger in as well. It deserves a base. It deserves a nice setting to be sort of shown off in. But overall, I am really happy with the finished outcome. And like I said, I'm going to add on a couple of still pictures at the end. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget you can give it the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments box below what you thought of it, good or bad. You know, that's your choice. I can't tell you what to think about it, but personally I think it really came out very good. And if you're liking this series, the series of old Tamiya kits, remember now, these kits, these aren't sort of your up-to-date dragging kits and top-of-the-range prices with loads of aftermarket. These are out-of-the-box kits. The only thing I added to this kit, right, we'll go around, I added the aerial, which is a bit of guitar string. I added a couple of extras, like that weren't actually in the kit. The fire extinguisher, this wire cutters, that wasn't in the kit. Neither was that box there, or these towing hook things, right, or the jack. And literally that was all I added, right? Everything else was out of the box. So, you know, it just goes to show you that these old kits, you can get a nice kit out of it for a finish. You can make it perfectly out of the box without doing any, you know, cutting it up and doing damage to it, or you can go to town like I did there and have it well beaten, which it definitely is. It's definitely well beaten up. So like I said, if you're liking this series of old Tamiya kits, I started off with the Panzer 4, then I did Tiger 1, this is the Tiger 2, King Tiger. I've got another few to go. We've got the flak fairing, I've got an 88, a Panther, a Hanomag. Yeah, and that'll be it then. That's it for the old Tamiya ones. So if you're liking the series, next coming up will be the flak whirling. Looking forward to building that. I'll do that in winter camouflage. So stay tuned to the channel for that one. So, like I said, I'm going to leave you now with a couple of still pictures of this. Okay, so until next time, it's John signing off. And remember, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it, and enjoy it, because that's the main thing. Enjoy it. And I'll tell you this much, I really enjoyed building that. Okay, so until next time, lads, take care and enjoy your modelling.